Inhale a little bit more deeply than before as you lift the abdomen away from the thighs and the chest over and beyond the thumbs. Open across the collarbones and relax the legs. The next exhalation breath, let's take the head down. Drop the palms softly down on the thighs. And as you raise your head, slowly open your eyes. Okay, let's start. So, come to the back end of the yoga mat, 2 big toes together, 2 knees apart. This is Adho Mukha Verasana or child's pose. So take your thumbs to the inner thighs and the rest of the fingers to the outer thighs. Lift the chest with an inhalation breath and keeping the buttocks glued to the heels. Lean forwards, leading the way with the chest. So this is an extension of the chest, but also the spine. So keep the buttocks trying to go down. If you have any injury, you can put some support underneath the thighs, between the thighs and the calf muscles, and press onto that support. Lengthen the sides of the body. When you feel that the buttocks really, really want to lift off, take one hand away from the thighs, in front of your head and beyond, and then take the other. Lock your elbows. Extend the front of the body, the frontal spine or the frontal side of your spine, and then glue again the sitting bones to the heels. Release the head. If the head doesn't touch the ground, stay extending the cervical vertebrae so that they are a continuation of the rest of the spine. Otherwise, bring the head down. Feel the armpit chest coming forward. And then come onto all fours. Place the hands right underneath your shoulders and open the lower legs so that they are hip width apart. And we're going to come into downward facing dog. So turn your toes under, lift the knees, bend the knees, and press your hands down. Extend the spine, extend the arms, push the hands down and the elbows away from the rest of your body, and then extend the legs, opening the back of the thighs, opening also the back of the knees. Walk in, walk in, walk in, feet towards your hands, and then inhale, look up. Bring your hands to your hips and come back up. So today we're going to focus on those 2 rings underneath the armpits. What we want is the back of the armpits to really thin the skin at either side of the shoulder blades, and the front of the armpits to hook and coil forwards and up. So for that action, we will warm up the shoulders first. And this is quite fun, actually. This is like dancing limbo. So the key to this exercise is to keep the arm as straight as you can, but the hand is not allowed to glue away from the wall, to unglue from the wall, I mean. So I will start with the right arm and show you. I'll start the hand and the shoulder at the same level, and I'll turn away from the arm to begin with, all the way, trying not to bend the elbow too much or trying not to take the hand away from the wall. So starting from Tadasana with the hand right next to me, I will bend my knees, step away from the wall with the right leg, and then come down under. So your arm is the limbo. Bend the knees, turn the elbow up, and then carry on turning all the way until you end up where you started, but with the shoulder all the way facing down. So now we have to come round the other way. starting with the left, turning to the wall, bending, bending, bending those legs, lifting the body up, lifting the chest up, lengthening the buttocks down, and then we finish where we started. Let's try the other side. It's quite a nice warm-up for a Friday morning. Now, press the heel of the hand against the wall and really have the arm aligned to the shoulder. Now from here, the heel of the hand is not allowed to come out of the wall. Bend the knees and we're turning away from it. So bend the left knee, step away from the wall and take a look at your hand. Lift the chest, turn around, and we end up where we started, but with the shoulder rotating forward. Now we have to go all the way away from it. Starting with the right foot, turning to the wall, try to go under that arm with the arm as long as you can take it. Otherwise, bend the elbow up and then come up the same way you started. Tadasana. So this has been probably a nice warming up action for the shoulders. Let's go back to the ground and we will do a couple of downward dogs to upward dogs. If you have any wrist injury or any shoulder stiffness and you cannot come to this upward facing dog, I would suggest doing it with the hands on bricks or on a chair. Otherwise, go down from Uttanasana. We will come into downward facing dog, a generous downward dog. So mind the distance between your hand and your legs. And then from here, keep the toes. The feet are up on the toes. So you don't want to take the heels down, even if you had the flexibility to take them. Extend your legs, extend your arms, and remember that hammock underneath your armpit. So we're bringing the armpits forward and the pubic bone forward until you're rolling on the toes until the pubic bone wants to come all the way to the hands and you have a body that's more or less vertical to the wall. Come back to downward dog and all the way up. Chest away from the wall in front of you and extend your legs. The legs should not be touching the ground. Extend your arms. Turn the front armpits more and more upwards and forward. Last time. Downward dog, stay on the tippy toes. Extend your legs. Lock your elbows. Look at your hands. And now bring your pubic bone forwards and roll on the ball of the feet. Lift the chest and look up. Roll the shoulders down. Come back. Bend your knees, place them on the ground. Bend your elbows and place them on the ground as well. So continuing that action of the coiling of the armpits, we want to now keep the two hands parallel to one another, two forearms parallel to one another, and just basically pin the tailbone down onto the mat as well as the pubic bone. The legs are extending away. The kneecaps should not be touching the mat. And all I want to do is just to, if someone took a picture of me now from the front, I would be looking like a sphinx. So you really want to press those elbows down on the mat, those hands down on the mat, and bring the chest more forwards, more forwards, more forwards, more forwards. Always originating the action from the dorsal spine, thinning the skin at either side of the shoulder blades. So push the shoulder blades, outer shoulder blades forward, and roll the shoulders back and down. Pubic bone and tailbone pinned to the mat. And now, if you are fine as it is, if your lumbar spine feels a little bit uncomfortable, stay extending the tailbone and the skin of the top of the buttocks down and away towards the heels. Otherwise, see if you can start lifting the chest, the abdomen a little bit, and the elbows a little bit. Press the mat with your hands. Squeeze the outer elbows in. See if you can now take the chest even, post it between the two upper arms. And now, can you walk your hands one or half a step towards your body and lift your chest some more? Roll the shoulders, bring the back of the head back, pubic bone and tailbone on the floor. Try and bring your hands a little bit closer to you. Lift your chest, coil the armpit chest. If the elbows are not locked, it's fine. You can bring them in, close to you. A little extra. Lift the chest. Bring your hands closer to you. Lift the chest more. Now look up. Push your hands down. And then release. You can stay a moment, breathing in and out with your head on top of your two hands crossed. And now, let's do a similar action, just as we did before, but we want to take one thigh up. So, one leg at a time, we will bring them more together this time. We will bring them up and catch the front ankle. So with that hand, same hand as the foot, we're catching the ankle. If this is not possible, if you cannot reach, take a belt or a scarf or something that will help you lengthen the arm. So ideally, your left hand is across the mat to support you so you can lift the chest, pubic bone and tailbone down, and then push and kick that top of the ankle and shin away from your body. So that will lengthen the arm, and then we will be able to lift the chest some more. Roll the shoulder. Notice that my armpit chest is lifting up, and the shoulder blade on the right arm is really thinning the skin there. Push the foot into the hand and then release. Change from one leg to the other. So now your right hand is across the yoga mat. Flex the left knee and bend it towards its own buttock. The foot is pointing up. Now swing your left hand and catch that leg. First of all, lengthen from the thigh, the root of the thigh, down towards that knee. From the buttock down towards that knee. And then start kicking the front of the ankle into the hand, the shin into the hand. Don't worry too much about lifting the thigh. Extend the outer knee away from your body. Extend the arm away from your body and lift the armpit chest more. Bring the head back and entwine the triceps into the upper arm bone. Lift the chest and then release. Again, take a couple of deep breaths in and out to bring the heartbeat back to normal. And then we'll do the same with both legs. So we're not worrying too much about how much we lift the thighs off the ground. We're just trying to make a beautiful bow pose in that there's no contraction of the lumbar spine, but it's all originated between the distance here. The distance between the dorsal, the thoracic spine, and the lumbar spine. So buttocks are rolling away from me, and the armpit chest is lifting. Let's start like a baby cobra with the hands at either side of my shoulders. And then I will push my hands down to lift the head, lift the shoulders, lift the torso, but keep the abdomen on the floor. Now, from here, Squeeze your elbows in and bend the two knees. So the 2 feet are coming to their own buttocks. From that point, simultaneously swing your arms and catch the ankles, both at the same time, hopefully. So we are like a little basket here. Grip hold of those front ankles with all 10 fingers and start kicking your shins away. Kick your shins, kick the shins, and then swing. So from, or rock even, from the abdomen to the legs. Lift and kick, lift the chest, kick the legs. Keep it active. Lift the chest, kick the legs, and then stay, look up, and release. Take a moment to breathe in and out. Then bring your hands towards your chest. Inhale, come on to all fours, and we will do our last arching of the back asana. So I will show you from the side. This is Ustrasana or Camel pose. You can fold your mat. I'm using 2 mats here, so I don't need to fold it. But if your mat is thin, you may want to fold it for extra padding underneath your shins and knees. We will lift the buttocks up and kneel up. Take the feet wider than my knees. So my knees are still kind of together and the feet are apart. First of all, I'm going to catch hold of my top ribs and help with the thumb. Help those shoulder blades push forward and the top of the armpit lift and coil. That's all. Lift as if someone was giving you a hug and lifting you up. Lengthening down with your tailbone, lifting the chest, lengthening the upper arms from the shoulders to the elbow tips. Come back to the center. And now let's repeat the same action, but with the hands at the back. So the knuckles of the fingers are lengthening the top buttocks down. Push the knuckles. Bring the outer elbows in. Push the knuckles into your sacrum and lengthen. Roll the skin down as you lift the chest. Lift the chest. Maintain the weight on the lower legs. The thighs are vertical. We're lifting from the pubic bone to the navel, navel to the chest, and chest up to the chin. And then release. And now this time around, we will try and do it so that we can, from the buttocks, slide the hands down to the thighs and slide the hands down, if we can, catch the heels. Otherwise, stay with hands on bricks. We can have a couple of bricks at either side or books, or you can just keep your hands here around the sacrum and lengthen the skin and stay arching with support. Let's do this. Weight on the front ankles and shins. Lift the pubic bone. Thighs are vertical. Lift the navel, lift the chest. And now we will start with the knuckles at the top of the buttocks. Extend the buttock flesh down to the knees and lift the chest. Coil the armpit. Coil the armpit chest. Lengthen the buttock skin and lift the chest. Be careful when you do this action. If you feel any discomfort in the lumbar, come back up. Then roll your hands down to the back of the thighs. Can you? Then find the heels. Lift the chest more. Roll the shoulders down. And last of all, look up at the ceiling, extend the back of your head. Inhale, lift from your chest. Sit back on the buttocks on the heels, sorry. And then we will do a couple of twists just to finish off. So, sit, Crossed legs. Be very careful. Keeping the lift of the chest is essential in this pose, so that we can create the space that we need, especially between the floating ribs and the iliac crest. So now, take your left hand to the right knee and the right hand behind you. If you can, you will catch the leggings on the left side, and then you will pull with both your hands in order to rotate the torso to the right side. Lengthen the torso, turn it to the right. Lift the chest. Now notice you can glance at your right shoulder and see how amazingly well that is opening. But what is happening to this armpit chest, to the left armpit chest? Can we lift it and coil it as well? Turn your head and look over the right shoulder. Coil and lift the left shoulder too. Inhale. Come back to the center with a long neck and with a lifted chest. Now, swing your right hand to the left knee or thigh, and then swing your left arm behind you. You can catch your leggings or the top of the right thigh. Inhale, and as you exhale, turn. When you turn, bring both your shoulders to the left wall. So parallel to that wall on the left. Lift the abdomen, the chest, open the left shoulder. That opens very easily. But what about the coiling of the right armpit? Can we lift and coil as much? Can we push the outer right shoulder blade forward to open the chest more? Last of all, turn and look over the left shoulder. Bring the head back to the center, bring the body back to center, and let's do a child's pose now. From child's pose, we're going to make a huge downward dog. So from this child's pose, as we started the class, Adho Mukha Verasana, take your two little fingers to the outer edges of the mat and release there. Take at least 5 breaths. Rotate the upper arms from the inside out, making the most of this open, wided arm position. And now look up, lift your buttocks up, take your toes, big toes, to the outer edges of the mat. So it's a huge downward dog. Lift the knees, and the rest of the toes will be off the mat. The heels will be off the mat. Only the big toe is there for support. And for the hands, the little fingers will be away from the mat as well. So make this huge downward dog, especially to broaden and relieve any kind of tension that we may have accumulated around the lumbar spine or the dorsal spine. Relax your head and neck. And then look up at your hands. Walk your feet forwards to your hands. Bend your knees. Squat, and then we can have a couple of minutes of Shavasana. So for this Shavasana, I would suggest having the 2 legs together, 2 knees together, 2 feet apart, and then lengthening the base of the skull away, lengthening the tailbone away from my waist, and then staying there. First of all, with the 2 hands on top of the lower abdomen, because the weight of the 2 hands will also increase the broadening of the lumbar spine. So stay with the 2 hands. You don't have to interlace them, but if you want to control them, you can interlace them. 2 knees together, 2 feet apart. I am bending my knees so that the sacrum is not making any effort. Still open your shoulders, open your chest. Continue with that coiling action of the armpit chest. So thinning the skin of the shoulder blades at either side and lifting the front armpits up and forward. Lengthen the head away from the neck. So you want the base of the skull at the back to go away from your neck. And then you can undo the interlacing of your hands and drop the hands at either side of you facing the ceiling. Feel the lumbar spine going down onto the mat. We don't really want to erase the curvatures of the spine, but we want to make them less deep. So at the moment, the curvature of the neck and of the lumbar spine are trying to flatten, or we are trying to flatten them towards the mat, whereas the curvature of the thoracic spine between the shoulder blades is trying to come away from the mat. And then, as a consequence, our spine will be long and more stable, more homogeneous, in that sense that there are fewer, deeper curvatures. Take a deep inhalation breath from the pubic bone all the way up. Relax the jaw. Relax the tongue in your mouth. And as you exhale, release completely. Targeting any point that may be uncomfortable physically at the moment. And so, with the next inhalation breath, bring your hands to the chest one at a time. And then bring the 2 feet more together. Roll over onto the right hand side. Very gently. Place your right hand underneath your head. And then you may open your eyes. Take your left hand to the floor and push yourselves up to come into a sitting position. Take a moment to bow and thank your body and mind for being healthy enough to allow you to do this session today, and thank the teachers before us who showed us the way so generously. Thank you for joining. Namaste. Have a lovely weekend.
Thank you so much, Rosana. Thank you. Have a lovely weekend. Enjoy the sunshine.
Yes, hopefully. Yes. I hope we can go to the beach or something.
Oh, maybe too optimistic. Thank you so much. Namaste.
You too. Bye. Namaste.